The call didn't start with screaming. It started with silence. A mother picks up the phone early in the morning. She expects small talk. Maybe a quick update about the baby. Instead, she hears her son breathing. Slow, steady, calm. And then he says, "Mom, I killed him." Not panicked. Not confused. Certain. There's a pause, long enough for her to think the call dropped. Then he adds something that makes it worse, so much worse. "I'm on my way to New York." By the time she dials 911, her hands are shaking so badly she can barely press the buttons. But what she doesn't understand yet, what no one understands yet, is that the baby is only the beginning. Because somewhere hundreds of miles away, 2 more people are about to die. The call that changed everything.
911, address of the emergency.
Yes. My son just called me, and he told me oh my God, North Carolina, he killed his baby, and he's in the house.
Okay, you said that he told you he killed his baby? Okay, ma'am, listen to me. What's your name? What's your home address?
No hesitation this time. No confusion. Just the mother realizing, in real time, that something irreversible has already happened. But even then, she still doesn't know the full truth. Because the child her son is talking about is not just any child. It's his son. A baby born from a relationship that should have never existed. Not between strangers. Not even between enemies. But between a father and his own daughter. Please don't waste time. Within minutes, units are moving across counties. Dispatchers relaying fragments of information that don't quite make sense yet. Male suspect. Confession over phone. Infant possibly deceased. Suspect heading north. They arrive at the address the mother gave them. The house sits quietly. No movement. No sound. Too quiet. The front door is locked. But just like he said, there's a key waiting under the mat. Almost like he wanted them to come in. Almost like this was planned. Officers step inside. And the first thing they notice is how normal everything looks. No signs of struggle. No overturned furniture. No chaos. Just silence. Then they find him. 7 months old. Lying still. No movement. No sound. No second chance. And just like that, what started as a disturbing phone call becomes something much bigger. Because now they know one thing for certain. The man they're looking for has already killed once today. And he's still out there. Driving. Heading towards someone. Stephen Platt. The beginning of something long before the phone call. Before the baby. Before the murders. There was something off about Stephen Platt. Not obvious at first. Not the kind of thing you could point to and say, "That's the problem." It was subtler than that. Quieter. The kind of wrongness people notice, but never act on. Back in the mid-1990s, Stephen lived with his mother in Levittown, New York. He spent most of his time alone. Door closed. Lights dim. Surrounded by old electronics, wires, magazines, especially the ones about guns. Neighbors remembered him the same way, quiet. Polite, sometimes. But distant. Detached. Like he was always somewhere else, even when he was standing right in front of you. And when he did smile, it never reached his eyes. His mother, Grace, tried to explain it away. "He's just different," she'd say. But different doesn't explain the way his temper worked. How it could flip, instantly. Calm to rage. 0 to explosive. No warning. No middle ground. And that kind of unpredictability doesn't stay contained forever. Eventually, it finds a target. Alyssa, the wrong place, wrong time, hundreds of miles away, in San Antonio, Texas, a 15-year-old girl was about to become that target. Her name was Alyssa Garcia. She was everything Stephen wasn't. Bright. Curious. Outspoken. But also young. And like a lot of teenagers in the mid-90s, she found freedom in the one place her parents couldn't fully control, the internet. Chat rooms. Anonymous spaces. Places where people could become whoever they wanted to be. And that's where Stephen found her. At first, it was harmless. Just messages. Late-night conversations. Talking about music. Life. Frustrations. To Alyssa, it felt like attention. Like someone was really listening. To Stephen, it became something else entirely. An attachment. Then an obsession. He was 20 years old. She was 15. But in his mind, none of that mattered. Because he had already decided what she was to him. The visit that shouldn't have happened when Stephen decided to travel from New York to Texas. It wasn't spontaneous. It wasn't romantic. It was calculated. He didn't go there to meet Alyssa. He went there to claim her. Her parents immediately saw the danger. They warned her. Argued. Tried to stop it. But they were fighting something stronger than logic. A teenage girl who felt seen. And a man who knew exactly how to manipulate that feeling. So she stayed. And once she made that choice, everything started moving fast. Too fast. Pregnancy and control by 16. Alyssa was pregnant. And that's when the illusion started to crack. Because Stephen didn't become more responsible. He became more controlling. He couldn't hold a job. Money was always tight. Arguments became constant. And his anger was no longer subtle. It was loud. Violent. Unpredictable. He punched walls. Destroyed furniture. Created an environment where fear lived in every room. And when Alyssa tried to leave, that's when he switched tactics. Tears. Apologies. Threats. If you leave me, I'll kill myself. Not because he meant it, but because he knew it would work. Years later, Alyssa would explain it in one sentence. He didn't want me to love him. He wanted me to be afraid to leave. The baby, and the first warning sign in early 1998, their daughter was born. They named her Denise. For a brief moment, Alyssa hoped things would change. That fatherhood might bring something softer out of him. Something human. But it didn't. If anything, it made things worse. Stephen didn't treat the baby like a child. He treated her like an object. Something that belonged to him. Alyssa started noticing things she couldn't explain. Bruises. Moments of silence that lasted too long. Times when the baby would cry, and Stephen would just walk away. Close the door. Leave her alone. And sometimes, when Alyssa opened that door, she would find him standing over the crib. Watching. Cold. Impatient. Detached. That's when something inside her shifted. Because it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about survival. The decision that saved a life. Temporarily, Alyssa realized something most people don't want to admit. She couldn't protect her daughter if she stayed. And leaving wasn't simple. There was fear. Control. Isolation. But eventually, one truth became impossible to ignore. If she kept that baby, Stephen might kill her. So she made a decision that would haunt her forever. 8 months after giving birth, she gave her daughter up for adoption. Not because she didn't love her, but because she did. It was the only way to keep her alive. And for a while, it worked. A new name, a new life. Denise became Katie. A new name. A new identity. A new beginning. She was adopted by Anthony and Kelly Fusco in Dover, New York. A quiet town. The kind of place where nothing bad is supposed to happen. They gave her everything: stability, love, safety. Everything she was almost denied. And for nearly 18 years. It looked like the story had a happy ending. But it wasn't an ending. It was just a delay. Because the past doesn't disappear. It waits. And eventually, it comes back. The question that changes everything for most of her life. Katie didn't question where she came from. She knew she was adopted. And she was okay with that. But something changes when you turn 18. Questions get louder. Curiosity becomes harder to ignore. You start wondering, who are they? Why did they give me up? What really happened? And that curiosity can open doors that were meant to stay closed. One night, Katie sits in front of her laptop, logs into Facebook, types in 2 names, and within hours, she finds them. Her biological parents. Alive. Accessible. Waiting. And with one message, she unknowingly begins the chain of events that will end her life. What Katie thought would be a reunion was actually a re-entry point, back into a world she was never supposed to return to. Back to a man who had already proven what he was capable of. And this time, there would be no one to take her away from him. The reunion that should never have happened at first, it feels normal. That's what makes it dangerous. The messages between Katie and her biological parents start off simple. "Hi. I think I'm your daughter." There's hesitation at the beginning. Then curiosity. Then excitement. Alyssa responds first. Warm. Emotional. Careful. Stephen responds differently. Faster. More intense. Almost like he's been waiting for this moment. Within days, the messages turn into phone calls. Late-night conversations stretch for hours. Katie asks questions about her past. Her childhood. Why she was given up. And Stephen answers in a way that slowly pulls her in. Not like a father. Like someone trying to connect on a completely different level. The first meeting, August 2016. They finally meet in person. Katie travels to Henrico County, Virginia. She expects something emotional. Something overwhelming. And it is. Just not in the way she understands yet. Alyssa hugs her first. Tight. Protective. Almost desperate. Like she's trying to hold on to something she already feels slipping away. Stephen stands back for a moment. Watching. Studying. Then he steps forward. Smiles. And wraps his arms around her. And in that moment, something feels off. Not enough to alarm Katie. But enough that Alyssa notices immediately. Because she's seen that look before. Moving in, the slow shift, Katie decides to stay. At first, it feels like filling in missing pieces of her life. A new family. New conversations. A sense of belonging she didn't know she was missing. But inside that house, there's tension. Alyssa and Stephen are already barely holding things together. They sleep in separate rooms. Conversations turn into arguments quickly. And Katie notices it. But Stephen knows exactly how to control perception. He's charming when he needs to be. Attentive. Engaging. He dresses better. Changes his appearance. Trims his beard. Lets his hair grow out. Smiles more. But it's not genuine change. It's performance. And Katie doesn't see the difference yet. Alyssa sees it first. Alyssa notices something shifting. Subtle at first. The way Stephen looks at Katie. How long he holds eye contact. How his mood changes depending on where she is in the house. If Katie leaves the room, he becomes restless. If she laughs, he leans in. If she speaks, he listens too closely. It's not fatherly. It's something else. Something Alyssa recognizes instantly, because she's been on the receiving end of it before. And that realization terrifies her. The night everything breaks one night. Alyssa walks down the hallway. The house is quiet. Too quiet. Katie's bedroom door is slightly open. And inside, she sees something that stops her cold. Stephen is lying on the floor. In Katie's room. Not asleep. Not even pretending to be. Just there. Like he belongs there. Alyssa steps inside. "What are you doing?" Her voice is sharp. Controlled. Already shaking underneath. Stephen doesn't move. Doesn't sit up. Doesn't even look embarrassed. He just turns his head slightly and says, "It's none of your business." No explanation. No justification. Just dismissal. And in that moment, everything Alyssa feared becomes real. The warning that was ignored after that night, Alyssa tries to act quickly. She pulls Katie aside. Tries to explain. Not everything at once, but enough. She tells her about Stephen's temper. His manipulation. The way he controls people slowly. She tries to make Katie understand. This isn't normal. This isn't safe. But Katie doesn't hear it that way. Because from her perspective, this is her father. Someone she's just found. Someone she wants to believe is good. And Stephen has already started shaping that belief. Subtly. Carefully. He doesn't argue with Alyssa in front of Katie. He waits. Plants doubt instead. Your mom doesn't understand. She's always been like this. She's trying to control things again. And slowly, Katie starts questioning the warnings. Not Steven. The exit, and the opening by November 2016. Alyssa reaches her limit. She knows she's losing control of the situation. And worse, she knows she can't protect Katie if she stays. So she makes a decision. She files for divorce, packs her things, takes her 2 younger daughters, and leaves. No dramatic confrontation. No final fight. Just gone. But as she drives away, she looks back once, and sees Steven standing in the doorway, watching. Not angry. Not upset. Something else. Something colder. Because for him, this isn't a loss. It's freedom. Isolation. The most dangerous phase now. It's just the 2 of them. Same house. No boundaries. No one watching. And this is where everything changes. Because isolation is where control grows strongest. At first, it's subtle. More time together. Longer conversations. Late nights. Shared routines. Then it starts shifting. The language changes. The dynamic changes. And the line between father and daughter begins to blur. The first signs of something darker. Steven starts telling his younger daughters something strange during their visits. He tells them Katie is special, that they need to respect her, that she's different. One of them asks a simple question. What should we call her? And without hesitation, he says, call her your stepmom. Not a joke. Not sarcasm. Completely serious. And that's when the situation crosses a line that can't be uncrossed. The journal, May 2017. Alyssa is at home with her daughters, trying to rebuild, trying to create distance from everything she left behind. Then she finds something. Her 11-year-old daughter's journal. Left open. Careless. Like a child not realizing the weight of what she's written. Alyssa picks it up. Starts reading. And within seconds, her entire body goes cold. Written in uneven handwriting are the words. My dad says she's his baby. Another line. He says she's my stepmom. And then drawings. Crude. Childlike. But unmistakable. A figure with horns. Labeled the devil. Alyssa doesn't need more than that. Because now, it's confirmed. The call that confirms the truth. She doesn't hesitate. She grabs her phone. Dials Steven. The second he answers, she doesn't let him speak. You got her pregnant? There's no denial. No pause. No attempt to hide it. Just a calm, almost irritated response. I thought you knew. Alyssa feels like the air has been ripped out of her lungs. We're in love, he adds. And the way he says it is what makes it unbearable. Not defensive. Not ashamed. Just normal. Like he's explaining something obvious. The system fails. Alyssa calls the police immediately. She reports everything. The journal. The relationship. The pregnancy. An investigation is opened. But there's a problem. A technicality. Katie is now an adult. There's no immediate evidence of coercion that can be proven. And because of that, nothing happens. No arrest. No intervention. No protection. Just paperwork. And silence. It's one of those moments where the system does exactly what it's designed to do. And still fails completely. Running, but not from what matters, instead of facing consequences. Steven and Katie leave. They pack up. Disappear. Start over somewhere new. But they're not running from the problem. They're protecting it. They move to Nidale, North Carolina. Into a quiet neighborhood. A normal-looking house. With Steven's mother, Grace. From the outside, they look like a couple. They walk together. Hold hands. Talk casually with neighbors. No one suspects anything. Because no one is looking for something that disturbing. The illusion becomes reality inside the house. They stop hiding. There's no more pretending. No more subtlety. They fully step into the relationship. They talk about their future. Plan their lives. Prepare for the baby. They even describe themselves as married in spirit. And the most dangerous part? They believe it. Completely. To them, this isn't wrong. It's love. The line is erased completely by mid-2017. There is no boundary left. No hesitation. No internal conflict. Just two people, living inside a reality they've created for themselves. And the world outside has no idea what's coming. Because what started as manipulation has now turned into something permanent. Something documented. Something official. And the next step they take won't just cross the line. It will erase it completely. We're at the point where everything starts collapsing. No more illusion. No more hiding. Just consequences and escalation. The decision that made it real by the summer of 2017, there was nothing accidental about what they were doing anymore. No confusion. No blurred lines. Just a choice. A deliberate, calculated decision to make something unthinkable official. On July 20th, 2017, Stephen and Katie got into a car and drove across state lines. Not for a vacation. Not to visit family. But to find a place where no one would ask the right questions. They chose Maryland. Because in that office, all it took was a form, a signature, and one lie. They stood in front of a clerk and declared, clearly and confidently, they were not related. No hesitation. No visible guilt. Just paperwork. And within minutes, they were legally married. The wedding in 01 stopped. What makes that moment worse is who was there to witness it. Stephen's mother, Grace, and Katie's adoptive parents, Anthony and Kelly Fusco, both standing in the same room, watching something they knew was wrong, but didn't know how to stop. There are photos from that day. They don't look like what you'd expect. No chaos. No visible conflict. Just stiff smiles. Tense posture. The kind of expressions people wear when they're trying to convince themselves everything is okay, when it clearly isn't. Katie stands in a simple cream dress. Stephen beside her. One hand resting lightly on her back. Too familiar. Too comfortable. And somewhere in that room, everyone feels it. But no one says it out loud. Nothing fancy, just love. After the ceremony, Katie posts a photo online. Just one image. The two of them standing side by side. Smiling. Normal. Her caption reads, "Nothing fancy, just love." To strangers scrolling past, it looks like any other young couple celebrating a small wedding. But to anyone who knows the truth, it's something else entirely. A nightmare, disguised as normal life. The baby, a new center of control 2 months later. September 2017, their son is born. They name him Bennett. Stephen calls him a miracle. A second chance at family. But that word, family, doesn't mean what it should anymore. Because everything about this situation is built on control. And now there's a child in the center of it. At first, things seem calm. Neighbors see them outside, carrying the baby, walking together, talking like any new parents would. From the outside, it almost looks stable. But inside the house, the pattern hasn't changed. It's just evolved. Obsession, not love. Stephen's behavior toward Katie becomes more intense, more controlling, more suffocating. He watches her constantly, tracks where she goes, calls her repeatedly if she's out too long, questions everything. Not like a partner, like someone who is afraid of losing ownership. Because that's what this is to him. Ownership. Not love. The cracks start to show by early 2018. The outside world starts catching up. Whispers begin. Questions get asked. Records get reviewed. Because what they've been doing was never going to stay hidden forever. Back in Virginia, the report Alyssa filed months earlier is reopened. But this time, investigators have more. More statements. More context. More evidence. Enough to act. The arrest one cold morning in January 2018, everything stops. Police arrive at the house in Nidale, North Carolina. Quiet neighborhood. Normal street. Then suddenly, multiple patrol cars. Officers at the door. Neighbors watching from windows. No one understands what's happening. Until they see Stephen and Katie being led out. In handcuffs. That's when the truth begins to spread. The couple next door isn't a couple. They're father and daughter. Public exposure, the charges are severe: incest, adultery, contributing to the delinquency of a minor. They're extradited back to Virginia, processed separately. And for the first time, the reality of the situation becomes public. Katie appears withdrawn, quiet, eyes down, like someone who is finally starting to understand what she's been part of. Stephen is different, calm, almost detached. Like none of this is surprising to him. Like he expected it. The defense that shocked everyone outside the courthouse. Stephen's attorney speaks to the media. And what he says makes everything worse. This is a case of two consenting adults who fell in love. No mention of power. No mention of manipulation. No mention of history. Just that. And for a moment, it reframes the narrative in a way that feels almost unreal. Because technically, Katie is an adult. But psychologically, that's a different story. One the law struggles to define. Separation, for the first time after posting bond, they're released. But under strict conditions: no contact, no communication, no exceptions. For the first time since everything began, they are physically separated. Their son, Bennett, is placed in the custody of Grace. And Katie leaves North Carolina. She goes back to New York. Back to the Fuscos. Back to the only place that ever felt safe. The beginning of clarity. Something changes in Katie once she's away from him. Slowly. Not all at once. But enough. She starts therapy. Starts talking. Starts revisiting everything that happened, without Stephen there to shape the narrative. And for the first time, she begins to see it differently. Not as a relationship, but as something that was done to her. The realization doesn't come easy. It comes with guilt, shame, confusion. But it comes. And once it does, there's no going back. The call that ends everything. Early April 2018. Katie picks up her phone. Stares at his name for a long time. Then calls. He answers immediately. Like he's been waiting. She doesn't hesitate. Her voice is steady. Clear. Final. "I can't do this anymore." Silence on the other end. Then she says the words that break him completely. "It's over." The break, that moment, is the true turning point of the entire case. Because everything Stephen built, everything he controlled, everything he convinced himself was real, collapses in a single sentence. And he has no way to fix it. No way to manipulate it. No way to regain control. The descent in the days that follow. Stephen disappears into himself. He stops answering calls. Ignores messages. Withdraws completely. Spends hours alone. Sitting in the dark. Drinking. Thinking. Replaying everything. Grace notices immediately. She tries to talk to him. Reason with him. Remind him. You have a son. You need to be present. You need to move forward. But Stephen isn't thinking about moving forward. He's thinking about going back. Back to how things were. Back to control. The obsession returns. Stronger, he convinces himself of something dangerous. That this isn't over. That Katie will change her mind. That if he can just see her, talk to her, everything will go back to normal. And once that idea takes hold, it becomes the only thing that matters. The plan begins April 11, 2018. Stephen goes to his mother's house. Calm. Composed. Almost normal again. He asks to take Bennett for the night. Tells Grace he's going to drive to New York. Let Katie see the baby. Fix things. Grace hesitates. But eventually agrees. Because part of her still wants to believe this can be repaired. Before he leaves, she looks at him closely. And notices something she can't quite explain. Not anger. Not sadness. Just emptiness. That night, he drives into the dark. With his son in the car. Heading toward the woman who just ended everything. And by morning, 3 people will be dead. The last night the drive begins quietly. No music. No phone calls. No distractions. Just the sound of the engine, and a 7-month-old baby in the back seat. Bennett. Strapped in. Unaware. Trusting. The kind of silence that would feel normal to anyone else. But inside Stephen's head, it isn't quiet at all. It's loud. Overwhelming. Thoughts looping. Katie's voice repeating. It's over. Again. And again. And again. Every mile he drives pulls him further away from reality, and deeper into something else. Something final. The moment and no one saw at some point during that night, something happens inside that car. No witnesses. No cameras. No recording. Just a decision. A single, irreversible choice. Later, investigators would piece together what they could. But the truth is, no one knows exactly how it happened. Only the result. Silence. Permanent. Bennett never cries again. And Stephen keeps driving. The calm morning. Grace's phone rings. She answers immediately. Because she's been waiting. Waiting for confirmation that everything is okay. Waiting to hear that he made it to New York. Waiting to believe this can still be fixed. But the voice on the other end isn't the same. It's flat. Drained. Empty. Mom! I killed him! There's a pause. She thinks she misheard. What? I killed the baby. The words don't register at first. They just exist. Floating in the space between them. Then he says something that shifts everything. I'm on my way to New York. The 911 call, realization in real time. Grace hangs up. Her body moves before her mind catches up. She dials 911. Her fingers don't work properly. She misses numbers. Starts over. Finally connects. My son just called me. Her voice is shaking uncontrollably now. He said he killed his baby. There's a silence on the line. Then the dispatcher asks carefully. You said he killed his baby? Yes. And then she says the part that makes it urgent. He's on his way to New York. Because now, this isn't just a tragedy. It's a moving threat. The house. Confirmation police arrive at the house in North Carolina. Everything is exactly where it should be. Nothing broken. Nothing disturbed. Just stillness. They find the key under the mat. Just like he said. And inside, they find Bennett. Unresponsive. Gone. The house feels untouched. But something irreversible has already happened inside it. And now, they know one thing for certain. Stephen isn't done. The drive, obsession in motion by the time police confirm the baby's death. Stephen is already hundreds of miles away. Driving north. Toward New York. Toward Katie. But this isn't about reconciliation anymore. That possibility ended the moment he made his decision in that car. Now, this is about control. Final control. If he can't have her, no one can. The intersection, New Milford, Connecticut. Morning. Katie is in the passenger seat. Her adoptive father, Tony Fusco, is driving. It's a routine trip. They've done it dozens of times. Same road. Same turns. Same timing. They're heading to visit her grandmother. Nothing unusual. Nothing suspicious. Just another normal morning. Until it isn't. The approach behind them, a blue minivan. Closing distance. Slowly. Deliberately. Inside it. Stephen. Watching. Waiting. Tracking every movement. Every turn. Every stop. He's been driving all night for this moment. And now, he's close enough. The red light, they stop at an intersection. Route 55 and Route 7. Traffic light turns red. Cars line up. Everything pauses. For just a few seconds, everything is still. Then the minivan pulls up beside them. Window rolls down. And time fractures. The shooting witnesses would later describe it the same way: fast. Loud. Unbelievable. A burst of gunfire. Glass exploding. Screams cutting through the air. No warning. No chance to react. No time to understand what's happening. Katie and Tony are gone instantly. Just like that. The aftermath, chaos. Cars stop abruptly. People duck. Some run. Others freeze. One man, a firefighter, calls 911. His voice is controlled, but what he's describing isn't. Someone just shot them. There's 2 people in the car, They're not moving. Then he says something that confirms it. They're dead. The escape, and the end. Steven doesn't stay. He drives off. Turns. Disappears down the road. But not for long. Because this was never about escape. It was about completion. About 30 minutes later, police find the minivan. Parked. Abandoned. On a rural road in Dover, New York. Not far from where Katie grew up. Inside, Steven is still there. And this time, he's the one who isn't moving. A self-inflicted gunshot wound. Immediate. Final. 3 generations, gone in hours in less than a single morning. 3 lives are erased. Bennett, 7 months old. Katie, 20 years old. Tony, 56 years old. 3 generations. 1 decision. 1 man. The truth about Steven after everything is over, people start asking the same question. Why? Why would someone do this? Was it love? Obsession? Control? The answer isn't simple. But the pattern is clear. Steven didn't love people. He possessed them. Controlled them. Defined their reality until they couldn't see anything else. And when that control was threatened, he didn't try to rebuild. He destroyed. Completely. Alyssa, the final word in the days that followed. Alyssa speaks publicly. Not as someone shocked, but as someone who saw it coming. I lost my daughter 3 times, she says. Once when she was born, once when she went back to him, and now, forever. The burial. Katie is buried in Dover, New York. Beside her adoptive father. The same place she grew up. The same place she felt safe. The same place she believed her life would begin. Instead, it ended. Final reflection: this wasn't a crime that happened in a moment. It was built. Slowly. Over years. Through manipulation. Isolation. Control. And the most disturbing part. There were warnings. There were signs. There were moments where things could have changed. But they didn't. So, God's word tells us in Colossians 3 verses 5 to 8, put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires and greed, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of God is coming. You used to walk in these ways, in the life you once lived. But now you must also rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Stories like this don't start with violence. They start with small things people ignore. Behavior that feels off, but not dangerous enough to act on. So I want to ask you something. At what point do you think this could have been stopped? Was it when she first met him? When Alyssa tried to warn her? When the system chose not to act? Or was it already too late? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, it means you care about stories like this. The ones that don't just shock you, but make you think. So subscribe, because the next story might be even harder to understand than this one.